Okay, welcome. I just plugged in the mic and everything else. They're starting up the crane here. Maybe they'll do some moving of it. This is another general live stream, but this time from the main gate. Kind of. I get a shot of the gentleman inside the crane there. Not much to see right now, just the basics of the day starting here. Maybe most of the damage was pretty contained to the scorching over there by the launch platform. Maybe it turns out wasn't that much damage. We'll see. I can imagine a lot of different wires that might have got melted, but we'll see what they say. See what their situation is. I don't know where the other photographers are. I would have. Maybe they're editing video from yesterday. They got a lot of good, the two streams, NSF and Lab Padre, as well as the hoop cam even. Got some good shots of that event that happened yesterday. I wasn't streaming, so I didn't get any of that stuff, but maybe they're editing video right now. But I know they do have their vehicles here right now, so like. There is some other live streams going on site, but I don't see anyone else really out here taking photos. maybe they have a lot of different sensors here on site, so maybe they're doing a bunch of work from the computers over there at the build site. It's checking all the systems from a distance, remote kind of testing and checking. So far today, I don't see a tremendous number of people here. Normally there's many trucks parked along the side of the road here. You can see here to the left, there's only a few vehicles here on the left. And today is, what day is today? Today's a Tuesday, so by this time of day, normally there would be a lot of vehicles parked here. We've got the trash people showing up. I don't know if there's any trash for them to pick up today, but they are here. And I'll get the shot here to the right. Again, normally this parking lot over here is filled with vehicles right over here. And yeah, there is a staff parking over there as well, but there's a lot of open spaces here. These gentlemen on the crane are probably doing an inspection of it. This is an expensive piece of equipment, this crane, so maybe that's why this is one of the things that's getting checked out here on site this morning, this crane. They're doing a walk around. Probably wasn't made for any type of fire or anything like that. You know, it's got a lot of hydraulic lines and things. All right, we got a big yellow crane coming down the road right now too. Tom, I got some close-ups of the tower. You might check that other video. I don't see any as of yet. The tower looks good, but the launch platform has some burn marks apparently. But I did upload a video just before this live stream. We can go check it out. A close-up video. In 4K. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. So today is July 12, 2022. And we're looking at booster 7. My understanding on here at the South Texas SpaceX Starbase launch site in Boca Chica. Rodrigo, I agree. The explosion does prove how resistant it is, and it's a good test. Probably even that's a great experience to proof of concept kind of thing. Grid check. That's off limits now. Once they put that those stakes in the ground, I was told that I wasn't able to go back that way anymore. So that is off limits to get the view of the Raptors. Yeah, it is restricted now. Mule Skinner, I did get a shot of something at the base of the over-launch platform there. There is some type of equipment or something that looks to be charred, and I got it in that close-up video that I just uploaded about 20 minutes ago. Might check that out. Pretty, that's the only thing I could see that caught fire. Of course, there was a lot of venting out the bottom there, and that's obviously that caught fire. But as far as besides that, that's the only big thing that I could see over there. We can't see behind this can crusher. Maybe something over there could have caught fire. That's kind of the general area where some of that smoke appeared to be coming from. So I wasn't able to see anything over there that would have been, could have caught fire. Yeah, watching NVA, me too. Good stuff. Huh. Tom says, I'm guessing that part Elon mentioned needed to be fixed was fixed, but didn't hold and cause the explosion. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about there, Tom, but I look forward to learning more about what you're saying there. Nothing seems to be leaning in any direction due to an explosion. Everything seems to be pretty as normal. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So it is 9:03 in the morning. Road closure is supposed to be in an hour. See if that actually happens. Excuse me. Some of the sponsors of the show are boattransportquotes.com. If you have something you want transported, you can check them out. Boattransportquotes.com. Good stuff. Good people. We got a PayPal way to donate in the description of the video here. Several ways to help out the channel, and you can scroll down to check that out. The purpose here at Ocean Camera Space Corp is to video the liquid oceans on the moons, planets, and asteroids in the solar system. And so to get that surface level video imagery for the first time, we haven't been able to get any on the ground footage of oceans or water on any of the 200 plus moons in our solar system, although we have confirmed satellite imagery from orbit and from a distance of the liquid oceans on some of these moons and planets. On most of them, actually. Most of the 200 moons have water confirmed. So, and we know that several of the different moons have oceans underneath the ice. So some of these moons are completely 100% or mostly 98% have an ocean beneath the ice there. So the goal here at Ocean Cam is to help generate that focus to accomplish those missions, starting with at least one mission where we do video imagery from the surface and from underneath the ice or underneath the ocean, in the ocean, and transmit that imagery back to the Earth in the visible spectrum so that everybody can see that there is liquid water, liquid ocean here on this such and such moon, and that all we have to do now is to collect it or send another mission back to it and do something more exciting now that we will have confirmed that there is an ocean there. So that's about a $2 to $6 billion mission if we were to send a camera, send a mini sub, have a high gain antenna, or some type of dome communication for under ocean communications. Maybe we use a laser communication from the planet back to the Earth or to the Deep Space Network to transmit the data from a live stream or something like that, or some kind of pre-recorded imagery that we get from a sub or some type of in the ocean video camera that we might send into say the plumes on the South Pole of Enceladus, into those tiger stripes where the ice is really thick. We might be able to shoot a couple cameras down into that ocean and then be able to transmit the data back to the Deep Space Network. So that would be a quick mission. Wonder what the trajectory data would be if we just fired a missile down to the South Pole of Enceladus with these little mini cameras that break apart into multiple cameras. And then at that point, it's anyone's guess how many will make it into the ocean there, but then we transmit the data back to the Earth, because there are apparently some vents in the South Pole there. So there's already water vapor coming out into the atmosphere. We just got to get those cameras down into the ocean that we know is beneath the ice on Enceladus. So we either do it with a non-invasive maneuver like that, or we could actually drill into it, or we can melt parts of it, or we could actually just fire a real projectile into with a little kind of detonation, and then we would have a pathway to that ice. Some type of way would be good. But we're talking about the survival of the human species, and if we were able to locate another destination, if we were able to confirm with real video and everything, and maybe even some audio, but mostly video, that there is liquid flowing on another source, another planet, asteroid, moon, whatever, and that there's an abundant supply of that, and it's in comfortable temperatures for humans to live, then that would be a survivalistic mission, and it would probably be worth the $4 billion or whatever it is going to cost to do that, to guarantee that we have a destination to go to where there's abundant water, etc., and a lot of open space and place for us to roam, and to build out capability of a second habitation for humanity here. And not only a habitation, not only survival at that point, but a place to do a lot of exciting exploration and missions. So. Oh yeah, what you would like me to zoom in on, Randy? Sorry. What do you have in mind? Good stuff. Okay, Stubby says the chart device with the blue housing was a Miller welder. Good stuff. Maybe that's on the far side in that 4K imagery I believe Stubby is talking about there. Tom says the problem I was mentioning was that they had an issue with the LOX transfer tube collapsing, and they went in and fixed it last week. Okay, liquid oxygen transfer tube was collapsing. Huh, interesting. How would that have sparked or how would that have modified what happened yesterday? Because I know there was like a large deluge of some type of vapor or liquid underneath the booster yesterday. And then somehow that caught fire. What was that? Thanks. Good stuff. Matrix says that had nothing to do with this test. Good stuff. And Ren asked, is any evidence of those bungee straps being melted? I would assume so. I know there was a white thing there, but oh yeah, these bungee straps on the can crusher, I don't know about that. I haven't seen anything. I can get a couple different shots to see if I can see anything, but at this point I don't see anything on that can crusher having had any issues, but maybe on the far side, huh? That's to be seen when maybe they'll roll that off the site here back to the build site, and at that point we might be able to get some other vantage points on these straps on the far side there. This might be like something like a scene of the crime kind of thing, because they had there was an explosion, unexpected, but now they can go all over the site and see how such and such got affected by it, and take some good data for the future, maybe. So maybe that's why they're not swarming the site right now. I don't know. Okay, Uranium235 asks if I can see any damage to the engines or such. I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to see any of the Raptors. I've been trying to get a good angle, but I haven't been able to get any view of any of the engines from any of the public locations where I'm allowed to take photos. Tom says the LOX needs somewhere to go. I'm guessing if the tube collapsed, it leaked out and onto the other parts of the engine. Huh, that's cool. I understand what you're saying. So you're saying maybe that deluge of liquid or vapor that we saw wasn't intentional, maybe that was an accidental leak? Maybe when the sun is setting in the afternoon, I'll be able to get better shots. Right now it's difficult to see. It's kind of a darkened area over there. Elon did say that he didn't see anything wrong. I think that's kind of the gist of what he said last night. He apparently walked underneath and with a flashlight and took a look. Got to remember that those Raptors are like over $1 million each, so that's 33. I think Raptors underneath there, so at least that'll be a $33 million issue if something had happened bad with those Raptors. Okay, Tom, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that's kind of what might have happened. Good stuff. Thanks for explaining that. The export says they may have been wet testing the engine pass-through with methane or LOX and something sparked. Randy says the spin up of the engines was not supposed to release all that fuel, and spark would have ignited that huge plume of fuel. So the spin up of the engines was not supposed to release all that fuel. Interesting. The export says the vapor just needed a little spark and all that gas. I believe so too. V. LeBlanc says Raptor 2 internal igniters are secrets. Oh, interesting. Okay. V1 LeBlanc. V says also external igniters on Raptor 1 are deleted for Raptor 2, and that the internal igniters are secret. Okay. Patrick says, from this location, it looks like a lot of extraneous unnecessary equipment sitting around the area, and there's room for trucks underneath, so pools of methane seems likely. Oh, interesting. Mustang asks, do we think this is a major delay, setback, or minor, months or years? My initial feeling into the time frame that we're in was that we're looking at maybe an August 11th or 12th launch. So we'll see how that yesterday affects things, whether that was included in what I was feeling or not, but we'll see. If the damage is minor, then this is a great step forward, you know, proof of concept. We're not sure what, if anything, is damaged yet. To be seen. The export says their chemical igniters, aren't they using two chemicals? So hypergolic is what you're saying, the export. Hypergolic, I think, is when two different fuels get mixed. Thanks to Everyday Astronaut, I learned that term. I think that's what you're getting at, the export. As far as extraneous equipment on site, I would agree with you, and I was thinking that they would maybe move more stuff off the pad area before they did any type of tests like that, you know, with the booster and the Raptors and everything. There is a lot of equipment here that, yeah, might have been, it is what it is, you know, basically. But of note is that the Starship is still unaffected by any of this. So the Starship 24 is probably still on schedule for its upcoming tests. I was thinking yesterday that they could have been doing some type of Starlink event yesterday, but that didn't happen. So, and it was instead a booster event that we saw yesterday. But the Starlink, the Starship is a good ways to the right, and it is unaffected, and I don't think that schedule has changed or been modified or anything at all. So today we'll see, in this week as well, we could see some big stuff happening with the Starship over there. Randy says, I think that once the new RAM is installed, they will take Booster 7 back to the facility for repairs. Good stuff, Randy. Mustang says, I wonder why it appears that there's so little activity. Could it be that there's a small number of forensic evidence collectors milling around before the workforce is allowed back? Yeah, maybe Mustang. Uranium says the Raptor does not use TEA-TEB for ignition. I don't know what that means. Uranium, good stuff though. Rick asks, do you think Booster 7 will be left on the orbital launch mount or taken back to the Mega Bay for repairs? If that happens, maybe just continue with Booster 8. Yeah, I think they have. They could go with Booster 8, but maybe Booster 7 is still in good condition if they're able to ascertain that. You know, maybe since their first flight is, they're planning to do it orbital. You know, take it all the way to Hawaii. Maybe they want to do it with a ship that hasn't had an issue before, so maybe they would scrap Booster 7. But we all see that maybe there's a chance that Booster 7 is just fine, and that they'll still continue with this on over there to for that long trip. Oh, Patrick, you said you saw the chopstick on our side, I believe, is only held back with a strap or something. I'm not sure if there's any other type of thing or if there's a chain up there, but there was a red strap. I don't actually see the red strap at the moment, but maybe there is a strap, or they removed the strap. There used to be a, hey Jill, good morning. There used to be a strap from like over here to over here, like a red strap. Looked to be yesterday that it was holding the, kind of keeping it from closing in on the booster there, and there could have been other kind of fail safes as well, but they did remove that RAM from that area over there, and I believe maybe the strap was assisting it in staying open, but maybe, and so the comment here is that it did sway back and forth, during the explosion. Patrick. Hey Ryan, good morning. Uranium-235 says TTEB is a fluid that ignites when in contact with oxygen. It's used for the Falcon, the SR-71, and some rockets. You can see a green flash when it ignites. Well, it's a fluid that ignites when in contact with oxygen. TEA-TEB. Interesting. The Xborg mentions that triethylborane for the SR-71. So 3 ethyls and a borane. Stubby says 4 minutes until the web images are released. It is 9:26 in the morning now, so 9:30 is Central Time, or 10:30 Eastern Time is apparently when there's some type of release of information, or maybe at the start of a press conference. I'm not sure. Hey Juan, good morning. No, nobody's said anything, but I have, there are a couple of videos by Lab Padre and NSF that got some good photos and video of the event. Some people think, someone mentioned here that maybe it was one of the parts that was fixed a couple days ago that ruptured or something, and then the fuels mixed or something. Maybe there wasn't supposed to be that deluge of liquid vapor, is one of the thoughts. There's a new batch of web JWT images, thanks to the Xborg. It was Tom Sicily, that mentioned that the locks need somewhere to go. He's guessing that if the tube collapsed, it leaked out and into the other parts of the engine. That's Tom Sicily. Check out Tom here in the chat. He says maybe some type of part got messed up and the liquid got mixed. V. LeBlanc says there are 3 igniters, one each for the 2 pre-burners and main combustion chamber. It all went internal on Raptor 2. Elon would not explain anything with everyday astronauts. Okay, so there are 3 igniters apparently, and on the Raptor 2, they, instead of having external igniters, they put them on the inside. So one each for the 2 pre-burners and main combustion chamber. Interesting. Thanks, V. Matrix says the tube was fixed weeks ago. The issue was completely isolated to the engines. And more. Carly, good morning. or Kyle, maybe. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Hey, Space Travel, they weren't going for a launch or anything. They were just doing some type of test there. And I'm not sure if it's a failure or not, but there was an explosion for sure. We're still gonna wait and see if the booster is good to go or not. Yeah. Nick says the booster will easily take the shock and heat from that explosion. That's good. That's good to hear. Good stuff. Well, if everything turned out good, maybe they can just go forward with another full-time static, full static fire when the time is right, when they fix whatever it is that happened, and we'll see the next stage, the next step, without a hiccup. That'd be like a springboard forward, I think. Yeah. So in the next 27 minutes, we'll see if there's a road closure. So that's the next big thing coming up on the slate here, whether the sheriff will show up and close the road, and what might happen here on site is the next thing I'm expecting to be happening soon. It's around 9:34 in the morning. There are some men walking around back that way. I can see them. There are some lifts back that way, so maybe they're going to be moving some lifts and doing something. Not sure. We'll see. Mark, that's correct. I actually went over there last week, or the last 2 weeks, somewhere in the last 2 weeks, I went over there to take some video and stuff, and I had to delete all my photos that I took. They didn't want me taking photos from over there, Mark. So that's how I know for sure that I can't do it anymore. So. I tried, but no. They set the rules, so. Thanks for the idea, though. Yeah, those were real good shots. I actually got some real shots that morning when I took them recently, but I deleted them. ITAR, huh? Yeah. Okay. David, I agree. Doesn't seem to be any substantial damage, but from what we can see here, right? All right, we got a helium tanker coming down the road. Compressed helium coming in. Portfolio, they did put some markers around the SpaceX property over there. Apparently, somehow the Dogleg Park property does extend into the area that was previously thought to be public land, state park land. So somehow the what I thought was state park land got converted into Dogleg Park. So I don't know if they bought extra property there or whether they've always had that boundary extend in that direction. But it is now they have it staked out, and they have people enforcing it as well. So V LeBlanc said, remember Elon said making ground zero is way harder than making rockets. These tests are as much about the site than the vehicles. Yeah, just making the launch platform and the pad and everything else. V LeBlanc, I remember him saying something like that. David says, my biggest concern would be for stress fractures from the blast, but it's designed to tolerate similar stress. Right. Elongated, good morning. How you doing? Good to see you here. Right, Jill says they have computer data to analyze, which will help, and that the daylight can help with a better investigation of what may or may not be, the condition of everything. Good stuff. Or maybe it's Jan. I'm not sure who is at that profile this morning, but good morning. I've been doing the best, doing all right here, elongated. Thanks. Morning, Jill. Okay. Robert. Mule Skinner. Morning. Yeah, the Mule Skinner says the tower and the orbital launch platform seemed pretty solid during the explosion, so I agree. Good stuff. Wonder if they're going over to the Starship right now with that lift, or maybe just moving stuff out of the way. I don't know, but they could be. They are starting some stuff here with the lifts this morning. Yeah. In the know here says, what I observed was they were flushing the liquid oxygen through the engines as a test. However, it seemed ignition likely was caused by an accidental firing of the igniters. That's interesting. In the know. Good stuff. Michael, yeah, thanks. Good stuff. Yeah, it's good to be out here, living the. I'm not sure it's the dream, but living the moment for another day. You know, it's still somewhat the dream, but it is an effort as well. I've got hopes for bigger and better things, but if and until those things happen, then this is what I can do. Yeah, I haven't seen Elon here, but he was apparently here last, say, maybe midnight, 1 a.m., I guess. It's just a guess. I'm not sure when he got out here, but after I finished videoing here on the site, sometime after between 11 and 12 p.m., I think he apparently came down to the site or was here already. I'm not sure. And but I haven't seen him here today, no. He's probably in a lot of meetings with different people about making, planning the steps forward. Or not, maybe he's just chilling out, but I would assume there are some meetings being planned. Sunny over here. That's correct, it is. So it's 9:46 in the morning. We got another 14 minutes till a potential road closure. All right. And there is someone on the lift over, just passing over there on the, in that blue on the right side of the screen. So another lift is going there to the right. Maybe they're going to the Starship area. I can walk over there or move with the camera to get that shot of the Starship, but I think first I'll go make sure without the camera and see if it's worth taking the camera over there. Okay, pretty interesting. Greg Williams says water was detected on an exoplanet observed by the JWST, James Webb Space Telescope. Greg, if they name the planet, let me know. I will check it out. That is a good thing. One of the difficult things to getting to some of these locations where there is known confirmed water is the trajectory. Now, right now we have difficulty getting to Mercury and even some of the other planets and moons, not only planets but moons in our solar system. Now, how many years did it take the Voyager craft to get out there to the outer edges of our solar system and take those photos of the different planets on the far distant planets? Now, never mind another outside our solar system, right? So Yeah, it'd be great as they keep taking videos and photos of water out there with that space telescope, but that doesn't solve the immediate issue of not being able to get into orbit into our solar system, you know. So, I mean, it's good to inspire, definitely great to inspire, but what's happening here at SpaceX is awesome as well, because we got the capability being developed here of getting out into our solar system. So, good stuff. My personal opinion, again, is that the defense sector, the military sector, and the corporate secret unacknowledged special access projects government sector have much more advanced ships, and I don't even know if they need engines anymore, but they have much more advanced ships and ability to travel than we do here in the public sector. So, but what we're doing here is doing it in the open, out in the open, where everybody can see and benefit from the technology and the knowledge and also the discoveries. When discoveries happen in the military sector or the defense sector, maybe it gets put in a file or it gets used in another defense or warlike technology. But when it's out in the open where everybody can see it, then everybody has initial access to that discovery, to that knowledge, to that technology. And nobody really outpaces anybody else in development of weapons or anything like that. So if we can, maybe as we do things more out in the open, then those groups which have the capability for advanced development of certain technologies can develop that public technology in a way that they can still maintain the control that they seek without having to secret away and what is it called? To limit someone else's progress through the hiding of information and technology. Okay, so someone says, Connie says, somebody pushed the wrong button. That could be it. Maybe some of the Simpsons were here and something like that happened, right? Alessandra, hello. Jill, yeah, I got some photos in the close-up of the paint there for the launch mount. I uploaded a video, about 4 minutes long video of the close-up this morning, so you might look for that if you want to see a close-up of the launch platform. Eric says, in Tim Dodd's recent video where Elon explains the workings of the R2, the Raptor 2, the igniter was the only thing Elon didn't want to reveal, referring to it as the secret sauce. Okay, good. I did watch that, and those of you who don't know, there's Tim Dodd, Everyday Astronaut, has a YouTube channel there, and he's done some videos with Elon recently. He's been putting out some segments of his chat with Elon. Worth watching for sure. The Russian gentleman or lady mentions, Paul, is it possible to launch a drone, fly around the Booster 7 and look under it? This is, they don't allow any flying of drones around the launch site here. I think it's like a $10,000 fine. So, but that is a fun idea. I'm sure SpaceX does it. It is their property, but drones are not permitted to fly on site or around the launch site. Robert says, what you're discussing sounds like a chicken or the egg, saying, in my opinion, you need both. You need the secrecy and you need the public stuff, huh? I'm not sure, Robert, maybe explain a little bit more what you're saying there, but heir of Spinoza. Oh, that's cool. A descendant of Spinoza is here in the chat. Good stuff. Not sure if this will delay anything or whether everything's still going to stay on schedule. I've been saying sometime around August 11th, 10, 11, or 12th of next month. It might be That's my personal time frame for a launch. Matthew, this morning, I've never said lunch. I've always said launch, L-A-U-N-C-H. Robert, good stuff. $9:53 in the morning. Via LeBlanc says, 100 tons going anywhere on Earth in an hour is something the military is surely interested in. Yeah. Well, an hour is kind of slow. There was a person named David Adair. If you do a search on YouTube called David Adair, D-A-V-I-D space A-D-A-I-R, and then say rocket, David Adair rocket. Do that search on YouTube. Apparently his rocket could go faster than the speed of sound. You know, it could, I mean, and that's not that fast, but it could go super fast. I mean, really fast. And the problem with super fast rockets, way faster than the SpaceX rocket can go, is that, yeah, you got to find a way to slow them down, but they can also cause a vortex, just like in the bathtub. When you open the drain, you get that vortex coming down. So if you have something going up too fast out up there into the atmosphere, it can cause like a rip in the air. It can cause an air current that kind of causes that twirling, almost tornado-like action. If it goes too fast, then they can bring the space down to the surface, the vacuum of space down to the surface, just like in a bathtub. Apparently that happened out with David Adair's rocket a while back in the 60s or 70s. Air, thanks. Tom asks, in your opinion, what happens first? The complete stacking of the launch tower at Kennedy Space Center or the flight test? Which stage are they up to at the Kennedy Space Center? How many segments have they completed of the nine segments, or 8 A and B? How many segments are they up to so far at the KSC? One of the limiting factors might be just how fast they can produce the segments. If all the segments are done, then it might go before the launch here. But if they, you know, it takes a little while to make each of the segments. I don't know the time frame on the Kennedy Space Center tower build, but this one here, I'm saying about, I was thinking around second week of August next month for launch. So we're around the, I think today is July 12th, so that would be 1810101. There's 31 days in July, so 30 days would make it in that time frame. So we're almost a month away of when I think we could do a launch here. That's using my secret spidey senses. You know, meditation. That was my feeling a week or so ago. Hey, Notorious, good to see you here. I'm waiting to see the outcome of the road closure here this morning. So we've got about 2 more minutes until the potential road closure. So far the sheriff is not, there are no blinking lights on or anything. The flame, have you seen, there are a couple videos by NSF and also Lab Padre. Nick says maybe it was a hypergolic ignition, mixing of 2 chemicals that ignite when they make contact. That's what I was thinking as well. We talked about it earlier in the chat here. If you can scroll back in the chat, you might be able to find some of that discussion here. Robert, there's nothing for sure here as far as any launches in July or August. That's just my own personal feeling. I don't have any information from anybody about any time frames. Someone asked me earlier today about using any footage, and there is a, I have a licensing agreement on the OceanCam.space website. It's there's a link to it here in the chat, but also you can go to the OceanCam webpage, OceanCam.space, and scroll down until you see the licensing link, or you can search for licensing. And I have it set at $150 a month, and you can use any and all the footage you like. There are certain people that I've chatted with. There's somebody at SpaceX who I gave permission to use any of the content that they want. Is one of the SpaceX photographers. But other than that, nobody else, I haven't given anyone else permission to use any of the footage. And I made that decision in February just because a lot of stuff was being shared and stuff or reposted in people's videos, but it didn't bring any income to the channel. And so, you know, after over a year of doing it for free, I have a licensing agreement, and certain people have inquired, and you're welcome to as well. And that's, you know, considering the gas and everything else to get down here and be here and take the footage, that's a great deal to do it for $150 a month. Also, if anyone wants to set up a camera down here, since I am buying that property, if you'd like to rent out a space on the property that I'm purchasing near the launch site, give me a call or send me a message. I'd happily rent out some space on the antenna / pole that I've set up, or you can install your own and maybe pay a 6-month lease or something, or possibly monthly. But if you'd like to rent out a spot on the land to put your camera, you know, you're welcome to contact me. We can make a deal. That's a great opportunity, actually. It's within about a mile of the launch site here, and it took me a while to locate a property owner and I contacted all the different property owners in the area around this launch site, and 7 of them responded to me. If anyone would like to try and purchase some other property, I can lead you to some of those people who said they'd be interested in selling their property to me. I might charge a small fee, like $500 or something, for my service and getting the information and everything and providing that to you. But I have a list of 6 other property owners that are looking to sell their property in the right near the launch site here. I have their names, phone numbers. I've contacted them in the past and gotten their quotes on what they'd sell it for. But I could help you with that if you want, and my fee would be like $500. There is some other property up by the build site, which I'd be happy to chat with you about. And I did a video here and I posted it. It's the low tide video, and some of those properties are assessed at around $200 up there. And half of the time it's underwater and half of the time it's above water. But there is some other property also near just north of Boca Chica village. Before you get to the beach, there's some property up there valued around anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 or $13,000, $7,000 to $13,000, kind of on the beach. The lot I have is actually twice that distance out into the ocean, which is underwater most of the time, which is why it's so valued cheaply. But there is some other beach property over there just around the build site, which I'd be happy to help you out with. And the reason I know about it is because I spent so much time here and I've done all the research, and my service on that to help you find and contact those owners would be about $500 as well. So some great opportunities. Imagine any type of beachfront property in Florida would be about $140,000 an acre. So we're talking 2/10 of an acre for anywhere about maybe $13,000 or so. If you don't mind getting something underneath the water half the time, then it would be much less for that same amount of property. Okay, Notori says, how many trucks does it take to fill up a booster with methane? And Jimmy Rios comes around with the answer, 20 or so. That's awesome. And looking at the booster, liquid oxygen on the periodic table is, if you don't know, the bottom of the booster is oxygen and the top is liquid methane. Because the methane is lighter and they want to have the heavier fuel, liquid oxygen, on the bottom. And this is the dividing point here, that area there, the different colored steel up there. That is the division between the methane on the top and the oxygen on the bottom. Jimmy, they haven't, we are past the 10 o'clock time frame, and they haven't begun any road closures. If anyone else is viewing some of the other feeds, is anyone getting any shot of the road closure up there? See if there's any sheriff up there with any lights on at that road closure spot. So far here, no sign of a road closure. V says Elon never answered Tim about when static fire. Instead, he walked off and started talking about the pipe failure in the Booster 7. Well, that's understandable. You know, everybody wants to know when the static fire is going to happen or when the launch is going to happen. And when you tell some people, then great. But then when you got to tell millions of people, it can get frustrating, because even Elon wants to get to the static fire, right? But he has the way to get to the static fire is to fix the problems and the issues, right? So I'm sure it's frustrating to him to be asked the same question over and over, you know, about something he wants to happen too, but he has no control over it, you know, not really. But you know, you gotta remember, Everyday Astronaut has millions of viewers, subscribers. You're welcome to subscribe to this channel here in Ocean Cam, and hit the like button if you haven't done so, and you like what you're saying. But so when Elon tells Tim something on camera, he's reaching like over 1 million people, so that saves him having to answer everybody individually. So there's some there's a bit of motivation for him to speak with Tim and answer everything as on point as he can, because then that saves him having to answer everybody individually. He gets the message out broadly and quickly. It's good. It's a good way of giving out information. Notorious says, will SpaceX make their own methane? There is a power station that's semi-built over there by the build site. It's those 5 stacked area. I think it's a natural gas facility, and they had some stacks coming out of the ground the last year. I think you probably remember that. And they are building up the site over there. The ground, there's a lot of groundwork happening to the east. Is that east? Let me see. To the west of the build site, there's a lot of groundwork happening just south of those SN 15 and 16 southwest. They rose the ground up by like 5 feet with gravel and everything else, and that's the area where they had those stacks coming out of the ground. So they may be building some type of big production facility over there for gases and everything else. I don't know, but they did do the flare tests on those stacks last year, and then they have been developing that site more recently with a lot of gravel and stuff over the last 6 months. Jimmy says the secret sauce was a little too much yesterday. That's funny. A little bit too spicy, huh, Jimmy? That's funny. Notorious puts forth whether a smaller Starship with Falcon 9 Raptor engines would work. Okay, zoom in on the orbital launch mount legs and see how the paint and general surface conditions. Okay, Jill, I'll do it from here, but if you want a really good shot of the legs over there, I did a close-up zoom with the Nikon camera this morning, and it's uploaded on the channel already. You can see that, and the sun right now is to our left. It's kind of making things appear dark, but this morning when I got that video imagery, it was like almost the perfect lighting conditions to get that shot. So check the channel here, the videos, and see if you can find that close-up. I put a thumbnail on it that kind of shows that it's of the launch legs. Not the best shot here with this camera, but I did upload that. Noob Sniper, good morning. Venkata. Oh, I'm gonna have to say that name. Venkata Saiteha Mukapati. Nice. Got a Hindu individual here. Gareth 5000. Notorious said they had said methane could be extracted out of the atmosphere. Oh, you can see some scorch marks. Good, good. My LCD screen here and the lighting for me is not the best, but maybe it's a good shot. Thanks for the request, Jill. Bablu. Okay, Venkata. Venkata. Bablu. Good stuff. I'm gonna there is a road closure scheduled for tomorrow too. So I'll do a summary and then I'll wind down the stream for now until, or unless something else happens here. So the update is the summary. Still waiting on news about what might have happened. There's some great thoughts about how the fire happened. Doesn't appear to be much damage. The legs, there's paint damage, maybe some other stuff. And the road closure today is so far has not happened. And what else? There's some people here on site beginning to move around with lifts and things like that. So. Notori says, why don't they make the booster bigger so that less fuel is needed in the Starship? Huh. I know they did make one of the domes flatter so that there could be more room inside the Starship. So sounds like they are doing some of that, and maybe it's just more of a time, modifying designs and structures is maybe counterproductive to actually just getting something up there and achieving orbit with something. But I'm sure they want to make many derivations, they, like you're saying there, make it more efficient, etc. And time people, money. What, these little poles here, Tom? They did put in this concrete here, and they concreted this fence area. So these, this is now here. It's a fixture now. Those poles there to the left, that area is probably yet to be done, but it will be done at some point. The real YT, good to see you. One of the new additions to the tower was that top piece. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, right there at the top of the tower, they put like an FAA kind of plane antenna thing. Right there at the top of the tower. And Tori says, if they made the booster bigger, they wouldn't need to refuel the booster, the Starship, to get to Mars. Huh. Uranium 235 says, making the booster bigger without adding engines will reduce payload too. Less fuel on the Starship means smaller payload, and they want bigger payload. So making the booster bigger without adding engines will reduce the payload also. It's just, I think the engines put out so much thrust and they can't have too much weight all on those engines. If they could make an AI that would redesign everything, considering what type of lift they need and materials, etc., if they could all just put all that information into an AI and say, build us the most optimal rocket ship, that would be something to take a look at, see what comes out the other side. You know, if this Google robot is actually sentient, then they should have this Google robot design us the most efficient rocket ever with not only aerodynamics but also types of material and all the other factors. Because if that robot is sentient, that Google has, then they can design and do all those things, right? As long as they have the engineering access to all that engineering knowledge. That's maybe the best way to go forward. Maybe we have engineers do more specialized things going into the future, and we just have the AI develop all the ships and everything. Robert, I'm with you, Robert. That is a concern. They have some really good security, and you can't just drive down the road and get here. There is a checkpoint, and there's a lot of cameras. So the stuff here is really big, though. If you really wanted to go up to that crane and do some damage to something, you'd have to bring some heavy equipment with you or something. And there's always guards here and everything. So. And then if you want to get away with something like that, that's going to be difficult, you know. It's not worth it, you know. It's not worth and especially if you care about the mission here at SpaceX and what they're trying to do. So there's so many parties that are involved in one way or the other in this thing being successful, that why would they not use the money? You know, this is money coming to many, many people all over, not all the United States, but around the planet. All the mined metal here and everything else, all the fuel that's being used, all the people being employed. You have a lot of people that care about this succeeding, and to kind of go up against that would be not the best situation to be in. So. And if we can, I think Titan, was it Titan? I think it is Titan, not Triton, but yeah, Titan, the moon Titan, I believe, I'm not sure which moon it is. I think it's Titan, has apparently liquid methane or some other type of liquids. So if they could do an ocean cam mission to Titan, there is a mission apparently from NASA going there sometime at the end of this decade, in the 2020s, and maybe that'll get delayed because a lot of stuff in space gets delayed. But if they could make that a priority and get over there to a place where there is some known liquid fuel type of thing, I mean, water can be used as a fuel as well. So there is a company out of Romania that uses a heated pressurized water to do their rockets. So water, not only can water be used as liquid oxygen, but it can be used just outright as water. So if they were to go to Enceladus or some of the other ocean cam destinations like Triton or Europa or Ganymede, they could get access to that water and use a pressurized rocket system like that one company out of, I believe it's Romania, uses. Otherwise, they could use the oxygen, liquid oxygen from the water to make rocket fuel. As there was a company which was bought out by Consensus, which had a asteroid mining mission, which was in the trillions of dollars of value. I think it was way more valuable than anything we had here on the Earth as far as metal and gold and all that kind of stuff. So Consensus bought that company out, and their plan was to go and extract the water off of asteroids. But once you get onto some of these moons where there's no atmosphere, there is that spin launch complex, which is now going through tests to launch things into orbit as well. And they don't use any fuel on the spin launch. I guess one of the drawbacks is that the G-forces might be so high that you wouldn't want to put a person in one of those spin launch things. But if you were wanting to propel something off of a moon or a planet or something that didn't have an atmosphere, you could use one of those spin launch systems. You just gotta be able to build it, you know. I guess a 3D printing or manufacturing facility on these different locations would make some of these larger space missions happen. You know, gotta be able to build the stuff in concrete and cement. If you got some water, you can make concrete and cement. You know. One of the issues we're all familiar with is if they built this orbital launch platform with a diameter that it has to be able to accommodate a 9 meter diameter rocket. If they were just to make a bigger rocket, again, that'd be nice, but they have to build a bigger launch platform as well. Maybe they could launch it off the Deimos oil rig. I'm not sure how big that modified launch platform is going to be, but so if it's bigger than a 30-foot diameter rig, that'd be great. But they probably can't go much bigger as far as diameter increase on the Deimos either, because it's not that big of a oil rig. They just have to start, once they succeed at this, then they can start planning a lot of other cool details and things, you know. But so far, rather than increasing efficiency and everything else, I think they're just focusing on succeeding at what they've started already, because they've already put so much money into it. They're coming up against some concerns, which is why the environmental review took so long, since 2014, and it was just approved last month. Almost 1 month ago they got that approval. So you know, if they were to start increasing the size of the rocket and making it twice as big, that would be even double the environmental impact, and they'd have to go back to the review process. So they're just trying to, I believe, go forward with what they got. Tony, good morning. Good day. You're in the UK, so good afternoon to you. Howard, no, I'm going to stick around as long as I'm permitted to be here. You know, the what I could say is the overlaunch platform incident yesterday didn't happen until later in the afternoon, and the morning time frame was more so tank farm area over here. So, I prefer to, yeah. So yesterday was, it turned out great. 4:28 in the afternoon in the UK. Good stuff. Starship 4000, good stuff. V. LeBlanc says Starship will be the C-47 of the future. Well, if we can develop that beaming technology, or maybe some type of a jump room or something like that, that's spoken about in some of the alternative media, then that would be great. There's some talk about rooms where you can, like in Las Vegas, where you can just go in the room and then come out. When you get out of the room, when you open the door on the other side, you're on Mars. So there is some talk about that. There exists a technology already where they don't need ships anymore. They just go in a room and they open the door and they're on the planet Mars. So what we're dealing with here in the public sector might be severely handicapped compared to what is in the defense sector. Also underneath the ground here on the Earth is apparently many underground military bases which connect to not only different areas on our continent, like 10 kilometers down underneath the Earth or something like that, or 1 or 2 miles down or something, and but connect the continents. And uranium, I would say what you're mentioning there has been debated by certain people, and has been said that that is in fact not true. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I have been told by people who have commented that there is no talk about a Starship 2 with a bigger diameter. So I don't know, I've heard both sides, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So, you know, we're focusing on rocket technology here, but when we as a public sector achieve or receive better technology, information, or progress on what we're doing here, either through a step-by-step process or through being gifted some type of technology that other sectors or other people in our population or in neighboring populations might have, then we won't have to keep walking. We can actually, you know, you can walk somewhere. You can get on Google Maps, how long will it take me to walk to such and such a destination, and it'll say like 5 hours. But if you click on the drive mode, how long will it take me to drive there, they'd be like, it'll take you 6 minutes. So in the same way, we're walking here with this rocket technology, and right now it's telling us it's going to take so many months or years to get to Mars. But if we had one of those jump rooms or some other technology with a much better engines, a different ionization, or some type of fusion reactor or something like that, or maybe some type of magnetic gravitational device, then we could get to Mars a lot quicker. So, and the question is, what kind of impact would that type of technology, how would that destabilize the global control grid? How would the global, so that's the real dialogue that we have to have. It's not whether we can develop these types of technologies, it's how will that destabilize the current controlling families, controlling corporations, control structure. How will that destabilize the monetary setup that we have here on the Earth? Because oftentimes it's been said that if you control the money, then you can control the people. You know, so you can control the politicians. If you control the money, then you control everything else. So as we become more self-sufficient, and maybe we have our own little mining production facilities and everything else, as we become more independent, whether through solar energy and able to grow our own food, etc., the more independent we become, the more able to control our destiny we become. And maybe the more shared vision we have, the more capable we have, well, the more shared vision we have, the more capable we are of building great, magnificent things together. We can build things and then get in conflict and destroy each other's things. But if we have a shared vision, where everybody benefits, and that's a more solid, more powerful structure, a better future. So that's why I talk about meditation a lot and the benefits of that, because it gives a certain knowledge which is not possible through science and through dissection. There's a gentleman called Sadhguru, S-A-D-H Guru, and he talks about how the mind is like an instrument, just like a knife. You can cut things with a knife, and the mind can isolate, and the mind can dissect things, and it can zoom in on and zero in on things. So the mind, would you like a sharp mind or would you like a dull mind? So if you think about that, would you like a sharp mind where you can clearly see the differences between things, or would you like a blunt or a dull mind? So if you say you would like a sharp mind, then you gotta acknowledge that it's good to know that if you use your mind in every situation to decide the next outcome, well, the mind is like a knife, and the problem with a knife or a sharp mind, where you're trying to dissect everything instead of seeing the wholeness and working with, if you're trying to maneuver or to position or cut or down to the minimal or to the lowest denominator, if you're trying to isolate, there's a problem with that, because then everything you touch, everything you use your mind for, you're cutting it apart. So you wouldn't like to you wouldn't like to brush your hair with a knife, so you gotta just keep that in mind, that the mind is it's an instrument, and depending on the type of mind that you have, it's good to become aware of other ways of interacting and perceiving. And that's what meditation gives you. It gives you that other experience beyond the mind, where you can sense and you can feel. And some of the outcomes of that are knowing things without having to think about things. And then there are other states beyond that, which even in the Star Trek and Star Wars movies, they talked about the Force. And as a meditator, you do gain access to the ability to sense forces, and also you'll be able to gain access to the ability to sense presence. And so that's why I talk about meditation and everything, so that we can have that commonality of consciousness or of awareness and the ability to sense, because it's the next level, a little bit beyond the mind. And as Michio Kaku would say, we are maybe a type 0, or we're nearing a type 1 civilization, but what do some of these other civilizations have that we don't currently really, where are we lacking as far as being strong? Forte, what's our current forte? Maybe dissection, but what could we develop more? And I would say that is to become a type 2 civilization, or even beyond, would be to transcend the identity, the individual identity, and be able to sense more of the commonality between the different beings here on the earth, and also outside of the earth on other all throughout on different states of being. You don't have to be on the earth to live, because once you get beyond your body, you can still sense and you can still feel and think. And again, that's only possible through some type of non-physical experience. So that's where the meditation comes in, and that's the benefit of becoming a yogi or becoming a Jedi. One of the drawbacks of the Star Wars movie is that they talk about the dark force and the positive force, the evil and the good. But in reality, there's only good, because evil is just a darkness. It's not an actual, there's no benefit to evil. It's only a closing off to the light. And there's a benefit of closing off to light in that you get a good perspective on everything that you're not participating in. But the only benefit and the only, you could say, blessing, or the only experience that you can really gain at the end of the evil pathway is annihilation. So not only can you annihilate other people, but at the end of it, when you're the only being left in your awareness, the only thing, if you're the only thing that you can sense and you're the top of the hill, to go beyond, you have to reach the next, to jump off the lily pad, is to annihilate yourself, your own ego, your own mind. And again, everybody who's going the path of good is already transcending their mind, their ego, their identity, and experiencing the benefits, the bliss, and the other ability to sense beyond the mind. And that's what I've been talking about. So, but at the end of the intensification on the evil pathway of the mind is just to accomplish what everybody else on the path of good is already achieving, transcending their ego, their identity. And but the detriment of the evil pathway, when they do transcend their identity, is since they've annihilated everybody else in their sphere, they're left in nothingness. They become nothing, and they kind of erase themselves from the universe. So the benefit of the evil pathway is experiencing nothingness, which is also quite the experience. But the drawback of the evil pathway is they realize the connection with everything, that there is no division or separation between anything, and that they've achieved stage 0. They become a type. They've achieved the bottom status of the civilization's stature. They realize that everybody else is connected to them anyway, so all their evil pathway was for naught. And they start once again to rebuild their mind and develop that ability to encompass the knowledge that they now have of the connectivity between everything. And once again, they reintegrate into society and try and benefit themselves in all the different various bodies, so that not only can they prosper individually as a individual, as a mind within the galaxy, the solar system, and the universe, but that we can prosper together as a community, as the larger being that we are, and not only create great things personally and individually, but to create them together in a larger way, and make much more magical things, and become a type, not only a type 0 civilization, but progress into the other. You can imagine the rest. But great things to come, whether we do it in this cycle or another cycle, because apparently we have existed before at much higher levels of civilization technologically here on the earth. And the Hindu books, the Vedas, talk about many thousands of years and many billions and billions of ages and years prior to this one. And that they say that there is no beginning. There was no beginning to the solar system or the universe, or I would say the universe. Maybe the solar system evolved and changed, but the universe has always been. And when something is alive, and if something creates something else, then that something which created the other thing was alive prior to that. So there is if you're willing to say that somehow the universe was created, I would say that the universe was never created, and I would say that the universe has always been, because of the experiences I've had, and it's just as valid a concept as the universe was created. So, in my opinion, my view is that the universe has always been, and it is interconnected, and that we have here on the earth have had many different civilizations, but we have also existed on every other planet in the solar system, because a lot of people like to, in the New Age movement, I'm not really part of the New Age movement, which is why I'm here taking video of SpaceX, but a lot of people in the New Age movement just getting into the type 2 civilization personality. When you get into yoga and everything, you start moving into those extrasensory Jedi type yoga experiences and capabilities. But those individuals who do start out on that pathway and start having positive results of that type of lifestyle do have a thought that, I had this past life experience and I was a king, or I was a queen, or I was such and such in that body. I was an amazing, spectacular person, and now you have to treat me as if I'm a king because I was that person in that other lifetime. But that is, like I said, it's just the beginning, because the more you progress in the meditation sphere, and the more you thin, or the more you become more subtle, the more you start to perceive rather than to think. And the more that you perceive, the more you become aware of the energy in other people, in other plants, in other things. And the more you become aware and in tune with the energy that you are, and see the differences between your energies and your forces and other forces, at a certain point you get to a kind of a base layer. Some people like to talk about the God particle, but there is no particle when it comes to this stage. There's a level of awareness which is maybe more permeates everything. So I'm talking about the awareness. And that when you get to that awareness level, you notice that it's the same as the awareness that's in the other body. So at that point, when you notice that the awareness coming out of the other person's eyeballs, and instead of talking with them and chatting with them and everything, you're just focusing on the awareness, the substance, the essence that's in the other body on an energetic level. At that point, when you notice and you become aware of that the awareness in the other body is the same as the awareness that's in you, it's a substance, right? At that point, then the thought that you might have is that if what's in that body over there is the same as what's in this body over here, in my body is over there in that body, looking back at me, how can that be? Well, when you look at the past life type of thing, if that awareness that's in you is in all the other bodies that you see and have seen, and that if there is that connection with you and everybody else, then when it comes to past lives, the information is that everybody is your past life, and everybody. So you have been a king. You are correct. You have been a queen. You have been a virgin. You have been a princess. You have been an alien. Not only here on the earth is that awareness present, but that awareness permeates and is all throughout the solar system, the galaxy, and the universe. So you have been every other feature within the universe, and you currently are, because the awareness that's in you, that substance, is in all the other bodies. So the awareness is, that's the type maybe 4 civilization, or that's the level of understanding that we're going toward here on the earth. But in general, as a population, we haven't acknowledged that on a conservative level, or even on a liberal or a any other level here in the public sector. We haven't acknowledged that as a civilization. So we're still working on this idea that we're separate people here on the earth, and that we have clans and we have different groups of people, and our group is better than your group, and our group is in competition with your group. But at the type 4 level civilization or something, then there is no groups. There's no my group and your group, or our group over here and the other group on the other side of the solar system. And we're not at that level. We're not creating weapons to go and destroy ourselves in the other location. So that doesn't make any sense on a type 4 level civilization, or even beyond the type 0 level. So as you get aware of knowledge of the distinction between force and presence, those are two different things. Force is something more immediate, something like the wind, or something more local, like in a video game where you're creating fire balls of fire, and you're directing that fire at somebody else. It's like the 5 elements. So that's force. But awareness is a presence, and the presence is not a force. And there's a book written by a gentleman named, the name of the book was Power versus Force. Hawkins, I believe the name was. And so he was at the level of the higher level civilization type person that I'm talking about, Dr. Hawkins. And so you might look at some of his books. I read his books a while back, before and after I had my experiences over 20 years ago with what I'm talking to you about. So I'll check out the chat here, see where we're at. We still got over 100 people. It's pretty good. I think maybe I said it in a good way today. Good stuff. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So if there's your awareness in your body, and you've had these dreams where you're these other people, and you start to say, well, in my past life, I remember I was this person, or in the dream, I had these thoughts and knowledge about these other things. And then when I woke up, I started to lose the memory, but I do know that I was that person. So then you bring on that identity. I would encourage you to take the opinion, or to start looking into, delving into the possibility that not only are you, or were you, that person in that dream, but that you are every person in existence that has ever existed and is currently alive at the moment. You are that awareness which is in you, is in all the bodies right now. And not only are you that prince or that princess or that lover, or whatever it is that you are associating with, you are all beings everywhere. You are all nations. You are all species. You're in every being throughout the galaxy and throughout the solar system. You are in the planet. You are not only are you on the earth, you are the earth, because there is energy in the earth and there's awareness in the earth. So you are the earth as well. And if energy has awareness, if energy is alive, and everything in the universe has energy, and then everything in the universe has awareness, and that presence which is within you is in all the different beings throughout the existence. So that's where the evil, that's the future of evil, is to come into the goodness, help yourself out in all these different bodies, to not compete but to build together, to create structure and to collaborate, so that we can achieve these massive undertakings and changes that will benefit everybody, yourself and all these different bodies on the earth, and also in every other civilization throughout the solar system, the galaxy, and the universe.
Spot here.
Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit, but sure.
Oh, sorry.
The chat here is going to be, it's going to go to the Nightbot, so all the chat here I'll be able to read, not only now but later as well. Good stuff. looking at the chat here. Hi, I'm just a girl. Yeah, I chat about this stuff when I get inspired, when there's a reason to, or when asked. Got a little bit better light here right now. Hi, Sanket. I will end it here in a couple minutes, and I'll take a break and maybe maybe in a couple hours do another live stream. Yeah, see you too. So the time right now is 10:56 a.m. So the road closure has not happened, and looks like they're so far just getting back going again here. Paul Esmamakos, I'm going to sign out here with Ocean Camera Space Corp. And take care. Good stuff. Signing out.